We're live, pal. That's right. Welcome back to the Tuesday night live stream. Once again, my name's Carson. I'm just here to show off some comic books that, like, I don't know why I keep buying so many. I know they're cheap. That's why. But anyway, we've got a lot to show tonight. Once again, like I said, I don't know what's wrong with me, but nonetheless, I do have one person to say hi to in the chat who is, I guess, technically tailgating. Even though I started early, don't expect too many people to show up this early. So Chris Barrett, he says, "Hey there, Seawood brother." Always nice to see him in the chat. And he's saying, Owen 316. Yeah, it wasn't like Owen 316 says, "I just broke your neck." We got the Great Legend show talking about that arrogance. For some reason, he's on this like Rick Martel British Bulldog kick. All I know, he doesn't like that Austin 316. Him and Drew, he doesn't like Rock and Austin. That's all I know. Smell the perfume. Oh, he's already popped me. We're not even to 7 o'clock yet. But thanks, guys, for joining me early, and we're having some fun tonight. So I'll go over what I read. First, I got two things on my read pile for tonight, basically. Got these late last week, and then I ended up working all weekend, so I haven't had quite the chance to read them yet. Wind, James Tynion. Can't go wrong with some James Tynion. I think he's one of the better writers going right now. So when he had a boom #1, figure why not go ahead and put that in the read pile once I finally found a copy. So I'll be reading that at some point. And then my boy, he's back. So Connor Kent is reunited with Clark Kent. So can't wait to see what's going to happen in the conversation between the two. I'm not really looking forward to the DC John Romita Jr. I got to be completely honest. Not the biggest Romita fan post 2000. Actually, no, Spider-Man work in early 2000s wasn't too bad, but still a little bit rough around the edges in his age. I don't know. Hopefully I enjoy this, but I'm looking forward to that. Had to go like to other shops to find a copy, but nonetheless, I found a copy, so I'm happy with that. All right, we'll go ahead and get into what I actually got a chance to read last week, and actually I read a little bit today. So for the physical copies of what I've read so far, we got to talk about Death Metal, of course. Shiny, there you go. There's your mandatory reflection. Yeah, this book is absolutely insane. Scott Snyder wanted to just top everything they did in the previous volume of Dark Knight's Metal. So Death Metal, it just throws you in this insane world of whatever's happened to the DC universe. It's basically follows Wonder Woman and Alec Holland's Swamp Thing, who's like just this fire mess of a something. I'm not even quite sure how to describe him, but he is definitely a fun part of this book. And of course, the Batman Who Laughs is up to no good. Spoilers, there's a really cool part where Invisible Woman, Wonder Woman makes her chainsaw invisible using parts from her invisible jet, and then proceeds to saw apart the Batman Who Laughs. So that was a lot of fun. So really, really curious to see what they're going to do for this whole run. I think they're going to go into a lot of what's been going on with Flash Forward and even Doomsday Clock, and maybe even leading into 3 Jokers. So hopefully it'll all connect somewhere. It's been a lot of fun, but it's been a mess, so to speak. So hopefully between Johns and Snyder, they'll bring something that makes sense together, because at the end of the day, that's what I want. I know that's fun, but I don't know if I want like 8 issues of that. So we'll see. All right, next up, Swamp Thing Giant. I made a couple trips to Walmart. I'm just kind of trying to cherry pick those TMNT NECA figures once they hit, with the Raphael trench coat and the Casey Jones. I need my movie Casey Jones to complete my NECA set. So I'm still kind of waiting for Walmart to put those on the shelves. And to be honest, not the biggest fan of going to said store. But nonetheless, they've actually been kind of putting out some cool editions of comics. Swamp Thing #5, 100 pages of Swamp Thing related content. Has an original story up at the top of this, where basically Sunderland Corp has more or less made a clone / kids of Swamp Thing. So I guess technically first children of Swamp Thing, who knows? But anyway, yeah, Sunderland's harvesting Swamp Things to help grow produce, basically. And Yeah, he has a big press conference where Alec actually shows up, and Sunderland doesn't like that, so he proceeds to light one of his kids on fire, and he saves the other one. So kind of an interesting giant size story going on here. So hopefully they release issue 6 at some point. I don't know the release schedules of those, but I got to see what happens with Sunderland and Alec. So good stuff there. Shazam 12. I don't know why they're doing filler issues. I guess I just felt bad that they couldn't get these out in a timely manner pre-COVID-19. So this is kind of like the one that was supposed to be, I'm guessing, released in March. And yeah, not the greatest issue because it kind of just breaks the flow of the story, but still a semi-enjoyable issue nonetheless, where you get to see Billy Batson before the events of this entire Shazam series. And Freddy's pretty much just daring him to like be a hero at this point, basically. He's like, you got all this wonderful power, but at the end of the day, you're still a kid, not a man. You're not a real hero. And he's like, well, I'll go help somebody be a hero by being a hero. So he goes to Gotham, and the first villain he bumps into is Scarecrow. So basically what happens, he gets fear gassed, and it all goes crazy from there. And Batman has to show up and straighten it all out. And at the end of it, there is a pretty cool conversation between Billy Batson, not as Shazam, he's just Billy as a kid, and Batman. And that's probably the most fun part, just seeing them on a rooftop, kind of Batman teaching him, what it means to truly be a hero, and, to kind of not listen to Freddy's criticisms, and just sometimes helping out the little guy as being a hero as well. So kind of a cool ending, but at the end of the day, in the grand scheme of things, I don't know what that adds to what's going to be a 15-issue run of Shazam with no Jeff Johns even in that issue when he's going to write the rest of the series. So just kind of weird. Got Strange Adventures number 2. They're still kind of going into this book that Adam Strange has written, not Dr. Strange. Thank you, Legend, before you could type that. So you got this book that basically Batman has given or encouraged Mr. Terrific to go out and buy. And you kind of follow the exploit or the day-to-day activities of Mr. Terrific just to see like a little Terrific ball, follow him around and like always be quizzing him about just theorems and science and history and everything. So it's kind of fun to see how Mr. Terrific spends like an average day. And while he's doing his average daily activities, he's reading Adam Strange's book. Meanwhile, Adam Strange, he's over on Ran, and he's on fun adventures with his wife, leaving his daughter behind. And that's why it's kind of weird, because in his book, he says he doesn't have his daughter anymore, whereas on Ran, he has his whole family. So then you kind of start to question, like, is this like one timeline? Is like the book the future part of the timeline and the Ran stuff the present? Are there 2 timelines? Who knows what's going on? So it's only issue 2. There's a long way to go. So I've kind of enjoyed the strangeness, if you will, pun intended, I suppose, of, the Mitch Gerrards and Evan Shaner conflict of art between planets / maybe timelines, who knows, with kind of the flavor that Tom King added to the Mr. Miracle stuff. So I'm on board for this. It's been a lot of fun so far. So I'm going to keep enjoying this for what it's worth. But I got to say hi to somebody who just hopped in the chat. It's not loaded up on the StreamYard side. But we got Gene Polly's Peter, a.k.a. GPAP. He says, big fan of Adam Strange. What is going on, GPAP? Nice to see you in the chat tonight. Always like seeing GPAP. I think the StreamYard side just completely quit, so we'll just read it from the YouTube side. Chris Parrott says, just me, or does anyone else think they should make bags big enough to display wraparound covers or 3 books? Yeah, I'm sure somewhere, some specialty places actually made something, but who knows? Not me. But yeah, that'd be kind of cool. I know you can get those invisible backing boards at least, but I don't know if there's one where, like, if you had X-Men #1, if you just undo the whole gatefold and like drop it in a bag somehow. Don't know where you'd store that. I guess you just put it on the wall. And then, of course, Great Legend still hanging out. Big thanks, guys, for joining me. And then the last thing I read last week, Young Justice, which once again I kind of said it on Comcore. I'll say it here as well. John Tim's probably the best cover he's put out, and maybe I'm a little partial because, hey, it's got my boy on it, Connor Kent, Superboy. He's finally back after 15 issues, and I think basically 2 years at this point after being brought back. He's finally in our main DC continuity again. it's felt like forever. I guess forever was late 2011. They kicked him out then. So very happy he's back. But in the grand scheme of things, they probably could have just did this whole 15-issue storyline in like a one-shot, like maybe a 5-issue miniseries. I don't know. But I want to keep supporting the characters I like by getting this book because Impulse is in here, Tim Drake's still in there, and of course Connor Kent, Cassie Sands, Mark Wonder Girl. Those are some of my favorite characters in all of DC. So I kind of have to keep getting this book just to support those characters. So I'll keep grabbing this. Hopefully they're getting ready to pick up steam and the whole Young Justice thing. They have a huge cast of characters they have introduced in the last maybe 2 or 3 issues. Pretty much just like every young character that no other creator wants. Bendis is just throwing them in this blender, and we'll see if he makes a nice, refreshing smoothie or just stuff you want to pour down the drain. We'll see. All right, so let's hop back in the chat. GPAP, he knows everything. He says you can use bags intended for Life magazines or treasury-sized bags, Chris Barrett. And then Barrett says 2 years, that's nothing. Barry Allen was dead for 20 years. Which, yeah, I think it was closer to 25 years. But, yeah, I'm sure those Barry fans, they felt it pretty bad. Luckily, I grew up with Wally. So Barry Allen, unfortunately, for the first part of my reading career, I guess that's what you want to call it, he was kind of just an afterthought for a while. So I did have a little rough transition in 2010 where they basically brought Barry back, and then Wally was just chopped liver after that, basically. So, yeah, flashes. All right. So we'll go ahead and get into a couple pickups I had. By a couple, I mean like 2 stacks. But actually, first, I buried the lead last week. Last week, I opened the live stream by saying, I'm going to show a book that I've been looking for a long time. It's been on multiple want lists of mine. And by the end of last week's show, for some reason, I just completely forgot to show it. So I'll just go ahead and show it now. I finally got TMNT issue number 4, the first printing. One of the iconic covers of the first volume, in my opinion. Very happy to have this book. Took me a long time to get this. I paid more than I usually would for a comic book, I'll be honest, but I've been looking for this like pretty hardcore for probably about 2 years plus, I'd say. Because I got a pretty good deal from Whodat on the first Casey Jones, the Raphael one-shot, and then the second print of issue 2, issue number 3, and then Big Bear Comics, who was used to be on the Great Legend Shows auction, he hooked me up with another phenomenal deal where I got like issue 5 and then like a lot of the later parts of that initial part. So, but very happy to have number 4 in there. So I think the next one I'm going to try to really go after is probably the second print of issue 4. But dang, that thing just keeps going up in price. These original Turtle books just keep getting bumped up. So that's why I finally I just coughed up the cash on this when I kind of saw a new listing, threw out an offer, and they accepted, luckily. But dang, like I feel like these things have jumped in price over the last 6 months. Don't know why. I don't know if people are just more interested because the comic book that's going on now with all the Jenica stuff and the City at War stuff that just got passed has generated a little bit more interest in what's actually going on the comic side of things. I don't know, but it's been a little bit hard to get those original issues. So I'm probably going to try to go after that second printing next, and that's not going to be easy either. That's for sure. So just had some more people hop in the chat here. So let's see what we got. We got Le Champion is 90. We got Chad 90 miles from comics. What is going on, man? I got to do one more for him. Drink it in, man. I'm glad that was right there. All right. Also, we got JP's Budget Collecting. What is going on, JP? If you guys haven't had a chance to check it out, definitely go to his channel once again. He's got some great content with multiple YouTubers where they just get a chance to review multiple runs of comics together. He has too many to name here, but he is actually nice enough to have me on his Gotham City Chronicles, where me, him, and Kavi, Comic Books NYC, got a chance to review Batman TMNT Part 1. So that was a lot of fun. So definitely hop over to his channel and check that out. And then everyone's just saying hi to each other, I believe. So thank you guys for hooking up and staying here. All right. So for the pickups, I'll get into more Walmart fun stuff because everything else is like half-price books related. Kind of had a half-price books drought recently. Obviously, the whole world's crazy right now, and bookstores are no exception. But luckily, they did a little bit of restocking recently, so we'll get into that in a second. Walmart pickups. Can't remember if I showed this off last week, so maybe I'm showing it again. Or for the first time, who knows? I got this amazing Spider-Man 33. It's a 3-pack of Marvel Comics that you can get like the front end at Walmart. And it's just a really cool, like, Alex Ross. I believe this is an exclusive to this pack. And that is just a phenomenal Alex Ross cover. I actually left it packaged in because I'm a sucker for that type of stuff, I guess. So I couldn't tell you what the other 2 books are, but one of them looks like a black and white variant of some sort, whether it's a second print or what, I'm not sure. But I just really like that Alex Ross. I saw some people like trying to buy these up and sell them on eBay. So when I saw one, I scooped it up for myself to put in my collection because I thought that was awesome. I love me some Alex Ross. Another one that I went to, actually found the issue 1 of the Giant Size Swamp Thing buried behind everything else. They didn't really like zone their shelves. They just kept shoving more on there. So this was in the very back of the other Swamp Things they had, because they had a lot of issue 5, but this was in the very back of those. So I thought this was pretty nice. So picked up the issue 1. I think there's like another issue 1. Like I said, it's gotten kind of complicated since they started distributing to comic shops as well. So I feel like I bought a Swamp Thing Giant Size #1 from Walmart, and then there was like a Halloween edition Giant Size Swamp Thing #1, and now there's this one. So looks kind of cool though. You get I know Legend, you love you some Phantom Stranger, John Constantine. So it's got some cool backup stories in there, I'm sure. I haven't had a chance to flip through that too much yet. And then once again, tried to get to these before the speculators scooped them up. They started this week putting out these 4-packs. So of course there's the Batman 89. It's a 3rd print. People are hunting these up still, I think. But I actually saw these on Spidey Fan's channel, and he actually revealed that all the books on the inside are the same. So there's another pack with a Wonder Woman B cover. It's actually in this pack as well. So yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool. For some reason, I ended up getting 2. So yeah, got 2 of those. So just in case anyone needed one down the line. So all right, let's see what the chat's saying, and then we'll get into these half-price books finds. Chris Parrot says that Alex Ross 2nd print is actually worth a pretty penny. Yeah, I'm sure if it's Alex Ross and it's not easily findable, if that's a word, it is now. It's probably going to be worth a few bucks. So like I said, I knew I had to have it, of course. Let's see. Legend says, that's awesome. They sell some comics at Wally World. Yeah, I mean, it definitely is about the only reason I would go into Walmart. That and, you know, they're starting to get NECA stuff. And I saw a bunch of, like, Marvel Legends stuff when I was in there, and the vintage style Star Wars stuff. So they're starting to flow in with some cool toys. I'm trying not to buy them, because if I buy one, I'll have to get, like, the whole set. And then this room will be even more overflowed with things I don't need, of course. Legend says, nice shirt. I need to find me a Bulldog or a Rick Martel shirt. Unfortunately, it's a joke, but it's not a joke. You may have to make your own on that one. They don't make too many of those British Bulldog shirts. There ain't no bull in this dog. All right. So when I went to up north to see what they had at the half-price books near Indianapolis, I didn't pick up a lot of things, but I got a few things, of course. So actually, I think everything else in this pile was from here. So, all right. Oh, yeah, we got Drew Manchu, baby. He says Constantine sucks. Yeah, I know he's not a big Constantine fan. I know he likes him some Stone Cold Steve Austin and some Rock tag team against whatever jobber team that him and Legend will pick tonight, I'm sure. Oh, man. We got Samuel David in the chat. What's going on, Samuel? Nice to see you in the chat. I could go for a cup of coffee or tea or whatever you have there. It looks tasty. JP's Budget Collecting says, need is relative, Seawood. You definitely need this things. I like that. Still looking for the 0-316 shirts. All right. So going back to what I found in the non-dollar bins of the half-price books I went to, found this Batman 18. I believe, I can't remember if this is the 1 in 10 or 1 in 25, but this is a ratio variant, I believe, for about the time where Damian Wayne died. It kind of flowed into all the Batman stuff after. I think it was in Batman Incorporated, the Grant Morrison stuff over there. So I got this Andy Kubert variant. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I had to have that. Here's one for the speculators, I guess. I didn't have this cover, so I needed to make sure I scooped it up before it skyrocketed in price. I paid $2 for this. Final Crisis, issue 7. I think this is technically the A cover. The B cover are the J.G. Jones ones, which I think I have that Superman one in that box behind me over there. But yeah, this is technically, I guess, the first appearance of Calvin Ellis, who is Superman of Earth 23, I believe, 22 or 23. But basically, there's a lot of speculation on the first appearance and the first cover appearance. Apparently, Michael B. Jordan is cast as a Superman in that Flashpoint movie that's been leaking information all week, with Michael Keaton coming back as Batman and the parents from Batman versus Superman being recast. Apparently, Michael B. Jordan may be Calvin Ellis in the Flashpoint movie. So it's definitely super interesting. So hopefully a lot of fun, obscure DC characters that we've loved for years will finally get a chance to see on the big screen, and maybe get a little bit of Crisis elements in there that we didn't get from the CW because they didn't have the budget. I think that would be pretty cool. But nonetheless, this actually makes me want to read Final Crisis again, because when it comes to crises in DC, you guys know I love Crisis on Infinite Earths. I really love Infinite Crisis, Jeff Johns, of course. Identity Crisis, I'll even give that a thumbs up. Brad Meltzer. But Final Crisis, for me, especially at the time, maybe it's because it was the erratic release schedule, that always hurts a book. But after I read the whole thing, I just remember not liking it. So I want to revisit this to see if my mind has changed, because I love me some DC, love Grant Morrison, and most of the characters in this obviously are pretty awesome. So I plan to give this a full reread at some point to see if my mind has changed. You never know. And then the last pickup I had at this particular store, I've never bought like an international comic before. Don't know why. I just never really see them or hunt them down. But, you know, when one finds you basically and it looks pretty cool, you might be inclined to pick it up. So here's the Italian version of Batman. And in Italy, this was Batman issue 13. So pretty cool Simone Bianchi cover there with Zatanna and Batman. I'm pretty sure this is the Detective Comics stuff that Paul Dini was doing, which actually, yeah, it should be. Yeah, Paul Dini is credited on the writing. So it should be from that same run. But I just can't remember. I'm going to have to look it up at some point. I can't remember if they used this actual cover on one of the comics. If they did, I don't have the American version of this cover. But I thought this was really awesome. Definitely something I don't have in my collection as an Italian variant of the comic. So this looked really awesome. $3, but figure why not? I won't roll across that ever again, most likely. So figured I may as well just go ahead and pick it up. Before I get into my local finds, which they'll have the the fun series of 20-cent books I've been finding, we need to get back into this chat. Chris Barrett says D'Lo Brown needed an Owen. Hit him an Owen 316 tonight. Wow. I guess I can't. Sorry. My neck's not like it used to be. I can't do the D'Lo head swivel anymore. I used to be able to do it pretty good. D'Lo used to be like one of my like top 5 favorites in like the late 90s for a minute, before the whole thing with draws happened to him. And, you know, that incident basically ended his career too, because he got put in that lowdown tag team. And yeah, gone too soon, basically. Gone too soon. So big thanks to Legend for letting everybody know to hit that bell icon. Drew Manchu says, we're going to talk hella Batman movie stuff on Friday. All those Flashpoint rumors. Yeah, actually, I think today actually marks the 31st anniversary of 1989 Batman. So kind of a fitting week to talk about Batman, as well as, of course, the Joel Schumacher's unfortunate passing. That sucked, of course. We'll go more into that on Friday, but we'll talk even about Batman Forever. That's one I'll have good things to say about for the most part. But Batman and Robin, I'll try to be nice. We'll see. Legend says, Ted Kord got too soon in Infinite Crises. Jaime Reyes, though, oh, yeah. We still need to do a show about that at some point. I'd like to do countdown all the way through the end of 52. I think that would be a fun show and a great read, but I just don't know how to format that. But at some point, I want to do that reread as well. JP says, you forgot to mention Drew's favorite, Heroes in Crisis. Drew's favorite, Heroes in Crisis. You got to love it. Chris Barrett, he's still hanging out. Stay Puft 1983. What's going on, man? Stay Puft, nice to see you in the chat. And we got Who Dat Comics and Movies. What's going on, Who Dat? I always got to show this off once again. Got my Turtles for about a month back. Just forgot to show it on this channel. So I figured Stay Puft and Who Dat would definitely enjoy this book. So, yep, finally at least got a 4 in the collection. Now on to the second print on that, and I don't even know if I want to read Chris Barrett's Draws comments. I haven't even read the whole thing yet. I may go back for that one later. I will just read it. He says, Draws may be quadriplegic, but always finds the good, never blame dealer for it. Absolutely, yeah. So, okay, good. He did a good comment there. So, yeah, I know what I saw Draws on those Dark Side of the Rings. He was in good spirits, it seemed like. So yeah, I never minded Draws. Yeah, I thought except when he joined the LOD, that was a lame storyline, but that wasn't his fault. All right, you guys have heard me ramble on long enough. We're gonna go ahead and get into the stack of half price books. So yeah, I had a little bit of a drought over here at this half price books. It's where I basically before COVID-19 was finding stuff every week. But of course they're not buying product right now. So I'm not even sure where they got these books, but hey, they got comics, so I flipped through them. So we'll go ahead and start with the stuff I got for $1, which this is it. And then there's the 20-cent stack. So they continue to have the 10 for $2 boxes. And for some, I think they've just given up putting the dollar stuff in. And now they're just filtering everything for 20 cents, which is good for me. Yeah, I enjoy that. So, well, once again, dollar books. G.I. Joe #1, Cobra Reborn. No idea what this book is, but it has a really, really awesome Tim Bradstreet cover with Cobra Commander on it. I was talking about this one with Comic Man Andy. It almost looks like he swiped his own version of Punisher Max #1. Maybe he intended to do that. Maybe he didn't. I'm not sure, but I just thought that looked awesome. So for $1, I wasn't going to pass that up. I had to put that in the G.I. Joe collection. A couple run fillers for my Jeff Johns Teen Titans run. So I guess we'll start with the Teen Titans Outsiders Secret Files and Origins 2003. Wow, that's a mouthful, but I didn't buy these originally because they had a $5.95 price tag on them. You guys know me. I don't like to pay tons for my books. $6, especially in the year 2003. That was kind of a lot for one comic book with, I need to reread these. I even skipped the read completely when I collected Teen Titans, which is one of my favorite runs ever, and I still never read this one. So I at least picked this up so I could flip through it. But yeah, love me the Johns Titan stuff. And then they also had next to that the 2005 Teen Titans Outsiders Secret Files and Origins 2005. So once again, cool cover. Tony Daniels on the title at that point. So we got a cool Donna Troy once she got resurrected. And I believe this was right before Infinite Crisis because still got Superboy and then Tim Drake in the 90s costume and that stuff. So, and of course, I guess Kid Flash was still on the team. He eventually left after Infinite Crisis. So I'm going to flip through those at some point as well. And then the last one, I was talking about the one spec book earlier. I went and swooped this up for $1, for the first cover, Calvin Ellis, second appearance, I think. I feel like there was a 3D Superman Infinite Crisis he was also in that no one's talked about, but I skipped that one back in the day too because it was an expensive comic that was just a tie-in, which no one likes that combination. But he appeared in this as well. 23, Earth 23, I was right earlier. So Grant Morrison, Gene Ha in this title. So couldn't remember if I had it, so when I saw it for $1, I figured I'd just go ahead and pick it up. No harm done there. So yeah, happy to secure that copy before people start swooping them all up. Yes, legend it is. Earth 23 soups. So before I get to the 20-cent ones, I want to say hi to JLS Comics, man. He heard the words G.I. Joe, and he came coming in to say hi. So definitely check out JLS Comics for all the best G.I. Joe character coverage you can find on the internet. He's been doing some phenomenal work lately. So definitely awesome stuff, JLS. Keep up the good work. Who Dat says, hi, JP and Stay Puft. Now you just need that first print TMNT 1. Yeah, I do, man. I would love at least like a nice third print and then work my way back and just start getting all of those. But I was just talking about earlier, they're not the cheapest books. So yeah, I think I'm going to focus on that second print issue 4 and just keep backpedaling until maybe one day I'm going to go out. One day I'm going to go after one. Rather it's like when I'm retired, I'll just blow all my retirement funds on that. We'll see. Great Legend says never or read him before in New 52. Yep, absolutely. That's right when that happened. We got JD Comics. What's going on, JD? Nice to see you in the chat, man. Golden Guys tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern on the Comic Core channel. So definitely check that out check out JD's content tonight. All right. So we're going in to the 20-cent finds. And like I said, I don't know why these books were in the 20-cent bin. Sometimes you just don't question such things. You just pick them up and pay for them. So I guess without further ado, and I was just telling myself, like, I'm just going to pick up a few books. You're still reorganizing. You're almost done. But if you keep buying more, I'm going to need to start buying more boxes again when I haven't even finished the ones. But anyway, we'll get into the finds. Adam Hughes, Catwoman, issue 47, 20 cents. Don't know why it was 20 cents. It's not a beater copy. It doesn't have any stickers on it. I'm like, why wouldn't I pick this up? Issue 62, Adam Hughes cover, 20 cents. Yeah, I'll leave it on screen a little bit longer since it's Adam Hughes. So I think I may already have this one. I can't remember. This is probably the coolest cover of the bunch I got, I think, issue 63. So definitely excited to have that one. And then the last Adam Hughes I got was issue 64. All that for a combined total of 80 cents. Like I said, I don't know what they were thinking. If they're just like, I don't have time to bag and board all these and put them in the dollar bin, just dump them over there and the boss won't find out. I don't know. I actually went through the same box like 3 times to make sure I didn't miss that Lost Numbers issue 51. If I had missed that one, I would have been devastated. But I was like, I'm going to comb through this again. And also in that box, we had a Joshua Middleton Supergirl 36 cover. So you see Hughes, you see Middleton, you see Turner, 20 cents. Probably going to pick it up every time. So I thought that was really nice as well. This one, it's a little dirty. You could tell I hadn't been bagged and board previously, but now it's in that nice Millar, Mylights 2 halfback. So there you go, Legend. That's for you. Also, Supergirl. Hey, did I say Mike Turner? I got a Mike Turner Supergirl 50, 20 cents as well. And this one originally came out for $4.99. I think that's why I passed up on it back in the day. But I always like Mike Turner Supergirl, especially from the Superman Batman series. Jeff Loeb. Thought that was absolutely awesome. So I followed Supergirl for a little while in the mid-2000s because occasionally you get cool covers like this from Mike Turner. So thought that was awesome. 20 cents. Planetary issue number 1. Warren Ellis, John Cassaday goodness. We just reviewed this. Well, maybe not just, but we reviewed it previously on Modern Men on the Comic Core channel. So definitely check out our playlist for that review. But happy to get an issue 1 in the collection. Definitely could leave that laying in there for someone to bend and tear up and all that stuff. Here's something I never really thought I'd collect, but who else do you get for 20 cents? You get George Perez. So I got George Perez's Star Trek covers, issue number 1. Thought it was pretty cool because if nothing else, growing up, I love that like initial set of movies from the Star Trek cast, like especially once you get the Wrath of Khan through about Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country, and you could subtract Star Trek 5, The Final Frontier from that whole thing because that movie was horrible. It's the first one I remember seeing in theaters, and I didn't like it then either. But yeah, Star Treks 2, 3, and 4, a lot of fun. So to see this cast on the cover of a comic drawn by George frickin' Perez, I'll buy that every time for 20 cents. They also had issues 2 and 3 in there. So I went ahead and picked those up as well and got those into nice bags and boards. So definitely thought that was cool to find. Before I keep going, let's get into the chat. Parrot says Star Trek 5 was better than Star Trek 3? Wow. I've never heard that opinion before. Good luck with that one, man. Star Trek. I'm trying to think of a movie worse than Star Trek 5 in the Star Trek canon. I mean, Insurrection was pretty bad. That's like the stinker of the Next Generation cast. Like, that thing was so boring. But Generations, Generations for me was good for nostalgia, but it was pretty stupid the way they killed off Kirk. I don't know if William Shatner's like, just kill me off. I don't care how, whatever. We'll just roll with it. And that's what they did. But I think 5 may have to be my least favorite in all of them. And that even includes the J.J. Abrams stuff. So, yeah, J.D. Comics says Star Trek rules, even numbers good, odd numbers bad. Yeah, they kind of flipped that on their head with the new stuff, I think. It's actually kind of like Star Trek Beyond, and obviously the first Abrams Star Trek is by far the best of the new trilogy. But yeah, that's a pretty safe bet for the old stuff. Obviously, 2's still the best one, though. Wrath of Khan, you don't get better than Wrath of Khan, in my opinion. JLS says Generations should have been a lot better than it was. I 100% agree. I feel like with the original cast, it was just like, who's just actually going to show up? And then we'll just throw them in there randomly at the beginning. And then really the only relationship they cared about was Shatner and, Shatner and Picard. I'm using one real name and one fake name, but Kirk and Picard. Whereas it was like a rare opportunity to be able to get more money, get more of the cast, and it would have been funner to see Spock and Data, for instance. That would have been a lot of fun, right? No, you're not going to get that because who knows? Maybe Leonard Nimoy was like, nah, it's not a good script, and he was right. I always think of Planet Terry when I see that. That's pretty awesome. And then we still got Samuel David hanging out. Great Legend still hanging out. Chris Barrett says, I stand by Star Trek 5 because it was what Star Trek was about. Diplomacy. Was it? Are you sure you're not thinking of Star Trek 6? 6 was actually pretty good. Star Trek 5 was the one with Spock's brother trying to be God or something, and it's not good. I'm sorry. All right, back to books. All right, we got Teen Titans issue number 37. First appearance of Miss Martian for 20 cents. I already have a signed copy. I believe I have it signed by Johns and Tony Daniel. Maybe just Tony Daniel. I can't remember. But nonetheless, I'll take an unsigned copy for the collection. Why not? We got Teen Titans issue 43. And didn't need another copy of this except newsstand. I got a newsstand from 2007. You don't see these too often, so I thought that was a pretty cool find for 20 cents. So occasionally I'll get those post 2000s newsstands if I can find them dirt cheap. I'm not really the biggest collector of newsstands. I just have the t-shirt, I guess, but sometimes I do like to get those harder to find newsstand variants, basically. Here's a book I haven't read, but for 20 cents I'll go ahead and give it a shot. Bedlam #1 from Nick Spencer, Riley Rosmo. So it's a pretty big, thick book. Probably, I think it was $5 originally. I figured I'd try it out for 20 cents. We got Logan's Run issue number 7. Like I said, I don't know why this was in there, but I didn't question it. I just put it in the pile. So once again, 20 cents. I'll give you a newsstand, even though it was probably commonplace when this was released. So standard, doesn't have the same ring to it. All right, Electro Sasson issue number 3. Some awesome Bill Sienkiewicz work. I think I have this one already. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. But once again, I didn't want to leave it for 20 cents. So if it's the second copy, it is what it is. But I figured I'd go ahead and just swoop that up. And then before I get into the last few, we'll go ahead and get in the chat because I want to say hi to Tacoma Comics. What's going on, Tacoma? He goes, here's some high praise. I was about to go live. There are 5 live shows right now. I was going to go live anyway, but when I saw Seawood live, I paused. I'll be done here in a second, man. But thanks for checking out the channel, man. I know Tacoma, he always gets some cool bookstore finds as well. So I'm kind of glad he waited. Then that way I can go ahead and watch his show and see what he found. So that means if he's getting ready to live stream, he's probably got some stuff he wants to talk about and show off as well. So definitely can't wait for that. And then Great Legend says, I got an idea. Give me the belt. Bob's Holly said backstage. Oh, out of context. Great Legend. I love it, man. Crypt of Dawn, Volume 1. Early 90s, John Michael Lindner. I always got to go ahead and get his stuff as well, the early stuff. So slowly creeping my way to the first appearance of Dawn maybe one day. I feel like I found about every other book cheap except for that first appearance of Dawn at this point. Chrononauts, Mark Millar, Sean Gordon Murphy, What's Not to Love There. I don't know how many copies I have at this point, but I think I got a friend who was looking for it, so I went and picked up another copy of Witches #1 for 20 cents. because I don't even know if this copy has been read. So, and I figured like next time I go and pick, I'll probably go. Well, I'm probably Friday again because that's my next day off. They had issues 2 through. I found an issue 6 in another bin, but I just didn't pick them all up because I already had a big stack. I may just put together a full run of it and give it to somebody who wants it at some point. And then here's like a B cover for Huck issue 1. So just another Mark Millar, Raphael Albuquerque book. So I figure if nothing else, I wanted to try to get these Millar number 1s before if it ever happens with the Netflix stuff, and I can't find those anymore. I want to make sure I put them in the collection before then. But all right, so the last part of the show, which I guess I'll read Legend's comment first. He says 5 live shows. See what used to be the only one on my feed. The most other shows are probably unsubbed. But yeah, it is kind of funny. Like I feel like I used to be like the only person who would pick Tuesday because like Wednesdays were just jam-packed because that was new comic book day. And then Thursday's the day everyone would review their books because they had, Wednesday to read. So Thursday would be the day they get together and read. And then Friday would be like, Comic Core Roundtable Day. So now it's like every day there's fun to be had in the community, so to speak. So, all right. So for the last little bit of segment here, since it's Tuesday, I'm just going to talk about what I'm going to read tomorrow, hopefully. So we'll go ahead. We're going to step on over to Previews World, and we're going to see what's coming out tomorrow. So from Image Comics, let's see if I'm getting anything. This time, we still got Die, issue 11. I might have to hop back on that because I think I stopped at 10. I didn't realize the hiatus was just now ending. I figured they moved on past when I dropped off. So pretty cool that Die is just now hitting 11. Elliot Legend Farmhand Trade Paperback Volume 3 comes out. So that means hopefully within the next 6 months or so, we'll get that Farmhand hardcover we've been waiting for. So definitely looking forward to that. Let's see what else we got. I may try out that Texas Blood number 1. I've heard pretty solid things about this one so far. I can't remember who's writing it, and unfortunately, I picked the tab share. So if I click it, you guys won't see it, only me. So if my store has that Texas Blood, I may go ahead and pick that one up tomorrow. But that may be about the only thing he has for all this collection here, because I think he's only been focusing on the issue 1s. Oh, by the way, I'm not getting this hardcover, obviously, but I did pick up The Last of Us Part 2 on the PlayStation. If you guys look for a game to play on the PlayStation, like, duh, go ahead and just get that one. It's been a phenomenal ride so far. Some soul-crushing stuff happens early on. I don't want to say any more than that because this is one of those games you don't want spoilers. If you haven't played the first one, obviously go play the first one first, but Part 2 has been awesome so far. IDW's got some stuff this week. It'd be sweet to have this Dave Cockrum Artifact X-Men edition. Actually, that may be one if Half Price Books, not Half Price, but In Stock Trades has that for a discounted price, which they probably won't. I may have to look into that. Let's see. Oh, we got Double Turtles tomorrow. You guys, oh man, Double Turtles, that's like Christmas. So we got TMNT Jenica number 3. So I'll be getting that on the pull list. Not the biggest fan of the Jenica miniseries, but hopefully this will kind of rein it in and make me actually want to read the other 2. But I've been enjoying the main title more. So we got ongoing issue 105 comes out tomorrow as well. The Turtles got back together finally in the previous issue. So now we'll see what the Turtles and Jenica are going to do in this newer style New York post 100 where there's this big mutant town. Are they going to try to get reintegrated back in the rest of New York, or are they going to just kind of own up to Mutant Town? I think they opened their own dojo for the kids of Mutant Town to go to, so they're not just wild on the streets, basically. All right, we got some DC comics. Let's see. I may have to look for this Batgirl cover in Hyuk Lee. I'm trying not to do too many cover buys, but that is just a sweet Batgirl cover. So if my shop has that, I'm probably going to go ahead and pick that up. I got Batman 93 on my pull list. I'm definitely interested to see what this Joker War stuff's going to be. Apparently, it's going to tie in the 3 Jokers and all that fun stuff. So I'm very interested to see where Tynan's going to take the book. Going into issue 100, of course, I'm guessing that's going to be the ultimate climax of the story he's telling right now. Don't know too much about this Joker Killer Smile. That was the previous one. The Batman, the Smile Killer. So my store has this. I may pick it up just to see what that's all about. Yep, Jeff Lemire, Andrea Sorrentino. So probably a sequel to their previous series, but looks pretty cool. I'll be skipping all that stuff. Looks like Doomsday Clock Part 2 is coming out, so hardcover collectors can finally get a chance to finish Doomsday Clock. I may have to get one of these Green Lantern 80th anniversaries. I believe Jeff Johns is going to have a segment dedicated to, his run in that. So Jeff Johns, Green Lantern, I kind of have to pick it up. There's no choice there. So I don't know which cover I'm going to go with. I'm probably, if they have it, I'm probably going to look for the Ivan Rice 2000s variant because that basically symbolizes my favorite Green Lantern run. I would go for the 90s one, but it's not Daryl Banks drawn Kyle Rayner. I think that'd be pretty sweet. The early ones aren't too bad. I believe Nicola Scott is doing the 40s one with Alan Scott. Hey, I guess that's probably why. And then I wouldn't mind the 50s one either. I think there's a Mondo Tees poster artist doing the 50s one. So some interesting choices there. Or maybe they'll just have the green one. I'll pick that up. But sometimes, like, if I'm getting the blank sketch covers, like, I don't like those giant size cover or giant size comics on the blanks, basically, because usually, like, once I get a blank done and drawn by an artist, I like to put it on the wall, and that just adds like completely unneeded weight to like an original piece of art, basically. So when I get a sketch cover done, I like just to get the standard size, like 24 to 48 pages instead of like these 100-page giants. That would just that's just begging to fall off a wall if you hang it. I may get the Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey issue 2 of 4 and just say screw it, throw it on the pull list. I got issue 1. It's the most fun Harley Quinn book, well, since Amanda Conner and Jimmy Palmiotti launched the character, and actually it was pre-DC Rebirth, so I probably will end up getting that if they have it. And I think that was it for my DC stuff that I was going to get. I guess we can go ahead and look at that Marvel, see if there's anything that interests me. I'm probably going to skip Empire. I'll let Drew Manchu tell me how good that book is on Friday. I'm sure he's going to read that and have a great time with it. I'm really behind on Immortal Hulk. I'm actually just going to start that series completely over on Marvel Unlimited, so I'm not collecting that in the singles anymore. And then we'll just go ahead and finish off with Boom Studios here. I'm probably going to end up having this Angel on my pull list. So last issue actually wasn't too bad. It had some cool stuff in there. But I think once this storyline's wrapped up, I'm probably going to be done with the Angel and Buffy stuff from Boom. Just post the Hellmouth crossover. I feel like they didn't do a lot in that crossover. And if that's going to be how slow the series moves along, I don't want to pay $4 an issue. I'd rather just read it digitally or in trade at some point. So interesting Angel side. Buffy's kind of boring and at a standstill at this point. So we'll see what happens. Maybe tomorrow's issue will blow me away. And I think that's pretty much it for what I'm going to get tomorrow. So I guess, in the comments or the chat, definitely let me know what you guys are going to get. Samuel David says, Once and Future number 8 will be out tomorrow. So he's looking forward to that. Chris Barrett's been digging the Marvel snapshot stuff they've been doing. And he says, trying to pick up that 1940s Green Lantern cover because it has all of the lanterns on it. Yeah, that's a good point as well. Let's see. He's still talking about that Super Grover t-shirt that we sell on the TeePublic shop and all that fun stuff. But nonetheless, I know Tacoma, he's wanting to go live. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, guys. So big thanks for joining me. We've got some fun stuff going on the Comic Core channel. Yesterday, I actually left the link down below. We had a premiere episode for Modern Men, episode 37. We finally got a chance to talk about an awesome book, and at least in my opinion. So, all right, Chris Barrett's already out of here. And then we just talked about how do you grade modern? When do you grade modern? And all that stuff. So, yeah, we read Secret Wars. We talked about modern books. We had Ryan from the Fake Nerd podcast. He was awesome. He's welcome back on that show anytime. Really enjoyed having him on the show for the first time. On 38, it looks like we're probably going to be reading Old Man Logan, the Mark Millar run that he did on, I think it's Wolverine 66 volume. I don't even know, 3 or 4, but it's been since that's came out since I read it. I'm looking forward to probably most likely revisiting that. You can go vote for that or another book on the Comic Core community tab. And of course, you can see me this Friday on the Comic Core Roundtable. Oh, and one more thing. Next Monday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, I'll be appearing on Comic Gories on the Boy Who Had Sevens channel. So I definitely have to get everything else organized before then so I can show off probably a bunch of signed books. So Legend says vote for Flashpoint. I don't even know if Flashpoint's in the thing this week. Maybe it is. I forgot. I do want to read that Batman Flashpoint again, though. But thanks a lot, guys, for joining me. I hope you have a good rest of your week, and I will see you next time. Later, guys.